This is so nitty. Yeah, so nitty. Table change. Check to the aggressor. Always check to the aggressor. What kind of flopping is that?
Election day is still here. If you guys saw my last video, we played a session at the Aria, straight off the plane, played for 4 hours, then checked into the room, worked out, and now we're back on that grind. This time we're at the Bellagio, so this can kind of be part 2 of perhaps one of the biggest days for our country. And maybe it was a strange day, people being at home watching the live results, because I've never seen this poker room so empty before in my life. But regardless, we're here and we're ready to play. A new 1-3 game started up, and at the Bellagio, it's a $300 max buy-in, so that's what we start with. The first 30 minutes of the session, a lot of folding was going on, no one really raising, besides us, and just the table was really boring. So we moved to another table because the action was basically non-existent. And we get involved in the very first hand we're dealt in. Since I moved tables, I bought the button, so I was in the small blind technically, my $1 in the middle and $3 in front of us. The next act raised to $6, super OMC type. It folds to us, and we have 10-8 offsuit. Not a good hand, but already half invested, so we call and go heads up to a flop. And what do you know, we flop a straight on a 9-7-6 all club board. And we have the 10 of clubs for 4 to a straight flush, so let's go. Not a bad table change, I'd say. We check and flow to the OMC, and he pretty much checks back right away. Gonna have to do our own betting. The turn is a perfect card, it's a 4 of diamonds. I highly doubt he has anything, but we still have to put some money in the middle, so we bet out $10. He takes his time and thinks, and actually min clicks it to $20. I'm just like, really, sir? Really? I seriously want to fold my hand face up because OMCs do not min click you with non-nutted hands. It just doesn't happen.
Go ahead.
Dachi, 1-3, Dachi, 1-3 no more.
This is so nitty.
I should almost never just be calling in this spot because of the player type we do. Just kind of funny. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, so nitty. Table change.
Yep, we do request another table change. Not just because of that hand, but the average age on this new table was 70 easily. There was only one middle-aged person in their mid-40s, but everyone else was up there. So we go to the front and request the last table change because unfortunately there were only 3 1-3 games going on that night. The very next shuffle we're dealt in, they missed us the last hand because we were getting that table change. So now we're in the cutoff. There's a limper to the end of the gun. It folds around to us and we look down at Jack 9 offsuit. We raise it up to 15, pretty bugged from the last hand and gonna be moving anyway. So we raise it up, the button folds, the blinds get out of the way. And so does the end of the gun. I'm like, does no one want to play at this table either? One orbit goes by, and I think we saw more blinds chopping the hands than actual flops or raises combined. Just want them to call my name already so we can move. No one's talking, and so many OMC NITS just feels awkward. We're on the button this hand, and it folds around to us, shocker, and we look down at an ace, barely see the other card, just see the ace, and we open to $10. Our favorite person to our left calls in the small blind and the big blind folds, so we're heads up again. This time we're in position. The flop comes King 10-6 with 2 hearts. We have 1 overcard, backdoors, and position going for us, but again, the player type we're going against, just keep that in mind. Action on him, and he leads for $7. I don't really think about it and put the money in, more just want to beat this guy any way I can, not gonna lie. The turn is a brick, it's a 4 of clubs, so none of our backdoors come in, and just sitting with ace high. It's like, all right, now on to plan B, bet until he folds, because I'm not losing a second hand to this player, I'm just not. He looks back at his cards and bets again, another super small size, only $10. I'm taking it as a check, because what is that really? Like, what kind of bet is that? So we bet/raise to $40, and he takes about 15 seconds, counts out some chips, and then makes the call for $30 more. I pretty much close my eyes on the river card because I don't care what it is. It comes the queen of clubs. He thinks, looks back at his cards again, and then checks to us. And remember what I said, bet until he folds. And I don't even think the logic of we have blocker to the nuts and we can have all the sets here, kings, queens, being the initial aggressor. None of that applies here, especially at lower stakes against this player type. But even though all that is true about blockers and nut advantage, we bet out $75. He looks back at his cards again, then returns them face down to the dealer. Believe me when I tell you, I do not recommend bluffing OMCs, like ever. I just wasn't going to accept giving him any more money.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't call, I probably had you.
I do appreciate his comment saying nice hand, and I'm just being real with you guys and expressing how I was feeling at the time. Playing a half hour at one table, folding, seeing chop pots, then coming over to this table, first hand, flopping nut straight versus flop nut flush, then seeing another orbit of chop pots, I was just super annoyed.
I got 3 table changes, so it's gonna be a while.
That's fine, yeah.
That ticked me off even more, but I just say that's cool. And it kind of gave me some relief that it wasn't just me. Like, I'm not going crazy. Other people were seeing all the OMC nits at these tables as well. So I guess it kind of made me feel okay, but still ticked off. So in other words, we might be at this table a little bit longer than we want to. Some more of the same BS happens, us raising, no action. We even win a hand with 9-2 because we put more money in the middle than everybody else. I mean, we might have had a pair of 9s or a pair of 2s, but still we bet and everyone folds. This hand kind of explains a little more what I'm talking about. Us versus whatever you want to call them, amateurs, nits, OMCs. We're on the button this hand. There's another gun open to $6. The cutoff calls, action on us, and we look down at ace-4 suited. We're not having the BS min-click opens anymore, so we 3-bet to $30. The small blind folds, the big blind calls, the under the gun thinks for a bit, then calls as well, and the cutoff closing the action, getting a great price, actually lays it down. Again, strange, but off to a flop 3 ways, and it comes ace high. There's 2 spades out there. The big blind dark check before the flop even came out. So action on the under the gun, and he reaches for some chips.
Check to the aggressor. Always check to the aggressor.
It's a small bet in relation to the size of the pot, but OMC leads. I don't know. We can have top set. Like, what are you doing, sir? I stopped recording and the big blind makes the call. The turn came a 4 of diamonds, the perfect card for us if we're still in the hand. The big blind checks, the under the gun bets again, and the big blind calls. The river is a blank. Same kind of thing happens. Check, bet, maybe the big blind fold, I don't know. But the under the gun shows pocket 7s for a set on the flop. And right when the big blind mucks, I tell the under the gun, check to the aggressor. You just always check to the aggressor. Ace high boards, check and flow. Allow me to bet, you win more. Especially if I saw the turn, I lose my entire stack. Turning 2 pair, I'm losing it all. Do what is supposed to be done and how the game is supposed to be played. You win $300. Instead, you get no more out of me. I told him what I had, and he said, I didn't want anyone catching up. Sir, watch some of my videos. Seriously, watch some of them. And I didn't say it like in a mean way to be a dick. I'm really just trying to help these people out, help their game. I was leaving as soon as they called my name to another table, so it wasn't like I was giving away my secrets or anything. And even later, a hand comes up. I folded pre-flop in the under the gun and was after writing notes. And at the end of the hand, the same player was raking in chips. And he says out loud, was I supposed to slow play there? I tell him, I don't know. I didn't see any of the action. But apparently he didn't like a younger person giving him advice. But what do you guys think of the hand I just explained? And if saying anything was okay to do? But moving on to a hand that we're actually involved in, we pick up a premium in the hijack, ace-king offsuit. The under the gun limps for $3. The next to act, the under the gun 1 raises to 6. The low jack folds. I'm like, are we playing limit hold'em here? What is going on? No, we're playing no limit freaking hold'em. Action's on us, and we 3-bet to $25. The button calls, blinds fold, the under the gun limper calls, and the under the gun 1 min clicker closing the action calls as well. So 4 ways to a flop with over $100 in the middle. And the flop comes jack high, jack 8-5 with 2 clubs. 2 overs, back doors, don't hate it, but don't really love it either. The under the guns check to us, and I hate to bluff nits, and ace king has showdown value, so we check, and the button checks as well. So a free card coming, and it's a good one. It's a 7 of clubs. We now have the nut flush draw. The under the guns check again for a second time, and we make a delayed c-bet to $30. The button cold calls. The under the gun calls. At least the under the gun 1 mucks his cards. I know someone's lying in the weeds with something. Let's just catch another club to crush some souls for check calling or slow playing. The dealer burns, and the river is a red 4. It's a 4 of hearts. Well, there goes our chances. These players aren't getting more out of me. The under the gun checks. We give up and check. The button does as well. I show an ace. The button shows the same hand, ace king. And the under the gun shows ace jack for top pair.
Jacks.
I had a free roll. Well, not with the jack, but that's to say with 1 player I bet, but not with 2.
Jack, ace jack? No.
You 3-bet, we split. Like, get all the BS out of there. He 3-bets, ace jack folds, he folds, I call, and we just split it. Like normal.
I try and say it as calmly as I can, even though internally I'm steaming. I guess let me explain a little bit more what I meant when I said we split. I 3-bet to 25, the button with the premium as well, 4 bets to 80 or 90, and say the under the gun calls, we're 5-bet ripping it, or the under the gun folds, we're ripping it anyway for $260 effective. Either way, I don't think ace jack can call a 4-bet or 5-bet for almost his entire stack. So again, if the button does what he's supposed to do, we don't lose any money on this hand. But because nits like to smooth call 3-bets, even though it's more like a normal raise because the BS min click didn't really count. But regardless, smooth calling with ace king on the button, that should get you banned from playing, I think. You don't do that, you just don't. So we both lose $55 instead of winning a few bucks. At this point, every hand we're just looking back, waiting to get moved. Then better be quick because our chips are going down. And this is kind of how. In this hand, we open to $10 in the low jack with queen 10 of diamonds. We get 3 callers, the big blind, hijack, and the cutoff. The flop is 5 high, checks all the way around. The turn is a 7 of spades, checks around again. The river pairs the board, it's a 5 of diamonds.
What kind of flopping is that? Yeah, sure. Thanks.
And that's our cue. Lucky for us, we get called, and I could not move tables any faster. This next table seemed a little better. The age range decreased from 70s to probably 50s, so a decent sign, I guess. We add 2 black chips to our stack, so we had a little over $300 topping off, now in the game for $500 total. A few orbits go by until we get into the mix at this new table. We're on the button in this hand, it folds to us, and tired of folding, not playing, so let's just play position. We open to $10 with queen 9 offsuit. Only the big blind makes the call, and he only has $15 left in his stack. I'm kind of like, oh my god, really? I didn't even see it, I didn't realize it. But it's going to go all in regardless on the flop anyway. The flop comes ace high, ace queen 8 rainbow. I think he checked, I'm not even sure, and we bet his stack, and he calls, or we call him, I don't know. The turn comes, a 6 of diamonds, I show him I have a queen, and the river is another queen, so we flip both cards, and it's obviously good. By the looks of it, I think even 1 queen was enough, so yeah, I guess we win on this new table, just not much. Still have a lot of work to do. We just can't really get anything going. We're slowly bleeding until we find ourselves in an interesting spot. We're in the big blind. The under the gun 1 opens to $10. The small blind calls, and we look down at 8-7 offsuit. We already have $3 invested. Closing the action, only $7 more. So why not? And what do you know? We kill this flop. It's 8-7-6 with 2 hearts. We have top 2 pair. A really good hand. I mean, flopping a set or a straight would be better, but can't be too greedy. The small blind checks, we check in flow as well, and the under the gun one surprisingly c-bets on a board that shouldn't hit him. He throws out $25. The small blind gets out of the way, and I know nits don't like folding over pairs, so we're going to charge that hand, or charge flush draws. So we check raise 3x to 75. He thinks for a little bit and makes the call. The turn is one of the worst cards in the deck for us. It pairs the board, but not our pairs. It's a 6 of diamonds. Now what do? We just got counterfeited. But if he does have a big overpair, and if he has any poker knowledge whatsoever, we can have all the straights, the full houses. So even holding that overpair, he can't feel the greatest facing more aggression. And if he has ace something of hearts, we have to charge that as well. So we toss in one black chip. And exactly 3 seconds later, he goes all in for $215 total.
That was a bad turn, man. It's a bad turn, man.
6, 7, 8. Great.
No.
Only out. That's only out.
Well, yeah, but an overpair beats me too. Like,
No, I mean what I'm saying is that's only out he can catch it.
yeah,
7, you got bigger full house.
yeah.
Exactly. He was drawing so slim. Only can catch the last 2 remaining 6s in the deck. Just gross. So gross. I guess the $100 on the turn bet from us was unnecessary, but we had to charge the hearts at least. That took a hit out of our stack, but let's try to get it back. An orbit later, we're in the big blind again. There's a limp in the hijack. The cutoff raises to $12. The button calls, the small blind calls, and we look down at King 9 of diamonds. And we're just degenning it at this point. Tournament mode. We go all in for $139 total. Wouldn't mind taking down over $40 of dead money. And sure enough, that's what happens. One by one, they all fold. Like, we're either going to get it all back, double up, or I'm out. Exactly 1 orbit later, we don't get any more opportunities to go all in pre-flop, but we do look down at a pretty looking hand in the big blind, ace jack of spades. There's an under the gun straddle to $6. It folds to the button, who limps for 6. More and more limps. Never seen so many limps in my life. Maybe that was a sign. Should have just insta-mucked and gone back to the room. I'm kind of just like, whatever. If we raise, they all fold. We have a lot of money to make up, so let's catch something and double up. So we just make the call for $3 more. If you can't beat them, join them, I guess. The straddler checks his option, and we go 3 ways to a flop. And we flop the world. It comes ace 9-5 with 2 spades. We check in flow, as does the under the gun. The button bets out $15. I have $124 in my stack, and I want a full double up. So if he has air, I don't want him off the hook. So we just smooth call. The under the gun fold, so now we're heads up to a turn, and it comes a 10 of hearts. We check in flow again. Gonna jam if he bets anymore, which he does in the amount of $30. We take a few seconds and put the rest of our money in the middle, $109 total. He snap calls, which means we are behind based on how fast he called, but we know we're still drawing to the nuts. We do not hit our flush. It's a 2 of clubs. We show our cards, and he flips over 9-5 of diamonds. Wow, flop 2 pair. We actually had more outs than we thought. Any ace, jack, 10, or spade. So double-digit outs. Was even ahead slightly on the flop, equity-wise. Just a 6 spot, a coin flip that doesn't go our way. And yeah, that's how we end our night. Didn't really feel like playing anymore after that. Had a long day, travel, a session earlier, and just getting destroyed by nits and the deck in this one.
How do you go from one session doing so well to the next just shit, basically? I mean, we even tried to table hop a few times and still, I mean, NITS, OMCs everywhere. I mean, it is, was it Tuesday? Tuesday night. Maybe Tuesday nights aren't good at the Bellagio, but I mean the poker room was super empty, and there was like 3 or 4 tables maybe at 1-3, and I even tried to get another table change on the last table, but there was like 3 or 4 people waiting for a table change. I mean, so that was the sign. But I don't know. I mean, we kind of deserve it. The last hand, ace jack, we just limped on a straddle, and I don't know. But I guess if we see a flop, it's going to go in regardless. 2 pair versus top pair, no flush draw. It's going in for $100 some. But whatever. I mean, that one hand where 2 pair versus 2 pair, that kind of tilted me a little bit. I was like, are you effing serious? Like, this is just ridiculous. I don't know. What are you going to do? I mean, that's low stakes for you. So, but yeah, we won at the Aria earlier today, 577, something like that, and lost 500 now. So still up on the day, I guess. So not all bad. And we woke up, so always blessed because of that. So that's always good. You guys have a good night. I am super tired. Like, my eyes, again, flight was early and didn't get much sleep because always traveling, it's a little rough. So we're gonna get on the tram, go back to the MGM Grand, and pass the F out. But have a good night. Like I said, good luck at the tables, good luck on the felt. Hopefully I see you guys. I mean, can't wait to meet more of you guys and get to hear all the bad beat stories. This is definitely one of them. Well, it's actually on video, so you get to see it over and over again, and you can talk crap because I did not play well this session. But yeah, that's it. Have a good night. I'm Matty Ice. This is Gaines Poker. Peace out.